Hey everybody, welcome back. I don't know what to do. This is the first time in a long time in the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus that I don't know what to do. In Repentance that I don't know what to do. Because we've done everything, we are missing one challenge or one secret. I believe this is the secret when you pick up every item and thus get like 1,000,000,000% or whatever. Can I bring you back like for the first time in almost 4 months? Because I'm recording this on the 24th of July, 2021, and I believe that Repentance came out on like the 31st of March. It feels good. I'm just gonna roll back an Isaac run, and oh my god, I feel like, well, first off, here's your seed. I got, like, chills. Maybe not chills. It's not like ASMR when they bring out the cup of water, as Chiblee says. I gotta think about that item room, because it is nice, don't get me wrong. But I'm excited. We get to play, you know, whatever we want. We get to do whatever we want. We're a character that has some abilities and utilities, not to be rude to the tainted characters, because now that they're done, I get the luxury of going on the high ground, right? And being like, hey, you know, they were tough, but I think they were fair. And now we just get to farm up some items. So I kind of feel we should keep the D6. Although Forget Me Now is fun, the D6 is really good. Possibly better expected value than having one extra floor. Although, you know, if you used it properly, maybe getting it on a deal with the devil or a guaranteed deal with the devil floor could be useful or something like that. But I feel like we can do a lot with this. Like we can maybe get some deals or some items we've never seen before, for example. I'll take an HP upgrade, and can I tell you why? I feel like if we play our cards right on this floor, there's a genuine chance that we can actually play the Eddie room a little bit. Maybe not enough to get to an angel deal, but possibly. And I'm not going to go back and reroll Forget Me Now, because honestly I've been kind of like psy-opt by watching Cobalt Streak play a little bit of Isaac with Dan. And Cobalt Streak's, admittedly it was a speedrun tip. So it might not be a strictly apples-to-apples comparison of, like, you know, the way that you should play the game at all times. But he was like, my number one speedrun tip is, early on especially, don't use your reroll on item rooms, because the item room pool is, like, so high variance. There's a lot of amazing stuff, but there's a staggering amount of filler, basically. Instead, use it or prioritize using it on boss rooms, you know, secret rooms, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, I think that's a great piece of advice. I'm choosing to see it as a great piece of advice. So I'm still, like, right now, you know, let's bring up something relatable. Most people watching this will probably have finished 8th grade by now. I'm assuming, you know, with the number of people watching, there's probably a couple, but, you know, most of my bits are not universally relatable, so this is nothing new. A lot of my bits are like, you know, if you weren't born in a very specific corridor of, like, 6 years, they probably won't make any sense to you. But this is what I was looking for, thankfully. Okay. I mean, we could get 4.5 volts, and then maybe use 4.5 volts to get extra rerolls, but I really don't think we would get another reroll on this floor. I think we would, even on this boss fight, I bet we'd only get like 2/3 of a charge at most. Regardless, though, there's like a weird period, and it happens in high school too, you know, when you're in like 12th grade, and if you're going to college, you've already accepted that you're going to college, or you've been accepted into the college, or if you aren't going to college, you know that there's like no chance you're gonna fail or like screw up your transcripts at this point, etc., where you basically just are kind of in a holding pattern, you know? You're in school, but you know that almost nothing you do really matters. You know, it's not like they're gonna teach you something insanely academically important, you know, in the last week before you leave the institution forever. So you're just kind of like, you know, hanging out. That's what we're doing right now. At some point, probably soon, I will do something in repentance. And I know that it's not meant to sound like intentionally vague or anything like that, but we'll do something meaningful, you know? We'll try to, you know, bust off a crazy streak or something like that, but for now, I'm having fun. Is the long and the short of it. It's the truth. And I'm excited to get back there to, you know, I mean, keep in mind, there were like years where we played Isaac with almost no carrot on a stick ahead of us. You know what I mean? Maybe yes, maybe no. I'm going to start here just to... Soul of Azazel's pretty nice, don't get me wrong. And I think I'm going to re-roll Forget Me Now. I'm trying to get enough HP to get to the payout that would either give us a ton of money or 7 Spirit Hearts, which would let us keep playing the deal with the Angel. But it's looking not so likely. And that's okay. It's still, you know, I'm having a fun time regardless. And I'm realizing, like, we could go True Ending, we could go Tainted, or Alt Path, we could go, you know, we could do whatever we frickin' want on this one, man. I'm gonna stay alive. So I think that was the end of our play there. And you know what? Why not? Like, let's give it a shot, man. Let's give it a freaking shot. But yeah, there were years where we had no carrot on a stick for Isaac. We were just playing the game and talking. And that's, I'm happy and maybe even a little bit, like, wistful to be back there now. Now I can actually focus on maybe, like, getting more consistent at the game, getting better. I mean, for example, I haven't been on the alt path in, I don't know, at least a couple of weeks. Real time, I don't know, maybe recorded is not the same, but... So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm enjoying, like, let's call it a little bit of a victory lap right now, you know? You know what this is? It's like when you're at an office and, you know, maybe you're not in a position of having a lot of authority and agency and power and, you know, autonomy. And, oh, don't rush me. It's like 3:55 p.m. on a Friday and you finish work at 4:30, you know? You're kind of like, what am I doing? You know, we got nothing going on right now. We might as well just go home early, but you can't go home early. Like, we're killing a little bit of time. But not in a bad way. Sunk cost fallacy, for sure. Oh, wow, that's a bit of a slap in the face. I just want to have a charge ready for our boss, but maybe just getting a deal with the devil would be more valuable. I don't know. That's a super tinted rock there. I do see that. How am I doing? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I would really like to get this Steam sale. I'll probably use Soul of Azazel to guarantee our boss kill here without getting hit, or hopefully guarantee it. Might seem like a waste, but I don't want to carry this thing for like the next, you know, 17 floors. There you go. And we could do multiple rooms with it, but, or maybe we couldn't. Maybe that's good enough. Okay, in here, are we going to prioritize deals with the devil? I guess we are. I'm gonna take a damage upgrade. Sack dagger, like, oh my god. Look, okay, this is the item you take if you want to win, because we have HP outside anyway. This is the item you take, if you don't think you've ever taken it before, and I'm not convinced I have ever taken it before, so I stand by that. Not to insult Sack Dagger, but I think it is worse now that the orbital rotation speed is higher. Okay. Completely my bet. We got spoiled for choice there. That was a good devil room. And, you know, even if I have taken the item before, like, I have to remember what all these freaking items do, man. And I am, like, not even close to being there. We are a long way away from that. Might as well try to glean some advantage here. How am I doing? Oh, thank you for asking. For asking twice, I think. I'm doing well. It is a Saturday. Had a busier week. This is like, for anybody that's not in, you know, this phase of their life, once you reach a certain age, and I'm pretty much stealing this, like, from a tweet, I think, but once you reach a certain age, That's interesting, huh? I think I definitely want this now. As bizarre as it may sound, I think by grabbing that, our deals with the devil will be half price money now, which might be acceptable, I guess. We still won't be able to afford Mom's Knife, but... Okay, so shops cost HP and deals with the devil cost money now. It's like we're living in Rand McNally. Could I possibly get a... could I get a key from the shop? I didn't even pay attention to that. I guess we could chill with Placenta for a bit here, too, if we wanted. You know... That probably is gonna pay for itself because of this super tinted rock. That I'm actually, like, so embarrassingly proud of myself that I spotted. That's a really good get. Alright, glad we didn't leave without that, although our speed is a little nasty now. That's okay. But yeah, when you reach a certain phase of life, I think at least, this is my experience, being an adult is basically feeling like you don't have enough time to do all the things that you want to do, but then rationalizing in your head that, like, oh, but once Saturday rolls around, like next week I'm gonna have so much more time. I will never let this problem happen again, and then being pinched and then being like, oh man, like, but like right now I'm like, oh, I did too much this week. Next week, let's take it a little easy, and, you know, I'll probably be in exactly the same position because... I mean, here's the mechanism, in my opinion. I'll probably take, but we don't have to choose yet, I guess. I think the mechanism is you feel pinched, so people ask you to do things, or maybe you have something you want to or have to do, but you move it. I'm not saying you're procrastinating, but you move it out of your imminent worldview. You know, you move it to the next week on the schedule because you don't feel like you have time, and you assume, probably naively, that next week is going to be different. As a result, next week rolls around and you're like mad at your previous self. You're like, why the heck was I even... Why did I put all this stuff here this week? I should have known. And then I think you just do that over and over until maybe, like, you die? Something like that. There is a chest back here, right? Like, that feels like a secret room. HP is a real, genuine concern. That's what I'm most concerned about. I think I'm gonna open that. If I blew myself up there, I would've... You know what? I would've laughed, I think. I think I could've laughed about it. Just remember, like, we don't have to do the alt path, you know? We could at any point deviate here based... And I think it's one of the interesting things about Isaac, right? Like, we could just deviate and be like, you know what? Now that we've got everything unlocked, we could say yes, we could say no, we could mix it up at any opportunity. You love to see that. Okay. Now, don't trade for the boomerang. Anyway, yeah, it's a Saturday. I recorded, you know, a little Slay the Spire this week, which took a little bit more time out of the Isaac schedule, so I'm recording on the weekend. And we've had some other stuff, like my wife's, you know, second COVID-19 vaccine dose happened this morning. Is weird flex, I apologize, but also is pretty exciting. It is weird, though, like being, and, you know, it's always a spicy topic, don't get me wrong. But, like, America got the vaccines earlier, and everyone there is already, like, you know, I was gonna say everyone's vaccinated. That's obviously not the case, but, you know, everyone that wants one appears to have had the opportunity to get one, unless, you know, they had a valid reason otherwise. And now it's shifted from that, like, pessimism to the cynicism of, like, new variants and, like, anti-vax hesitation and stuff like that. And, meanwhile, up in Canada, like, we're finally in the millennial cohort getting, like, our second dose, and we're like, you know, hot dad summer, but, you know, the news is, like, not so fast. Which is, I'm not saying, like, oh, screw the news, I'm just saying it's funny. I feel like we're, up in Canada, we're just slightly out of sync because we were second to the party, or maybe third to the party. Not that I'm complaining. Third... You show up third to the party, you're still getting hors d'oeuvres and appetizers. I came up with a bit, by the way, and I'm going to try to do the Ubermom fight here. I came up with a bit, and the bit is throwing a party where like a competitive eater goes to. Like, okay, you know what? We can make the bit better. How do you feel if you are throwing a barbecue and Joey Chestnut shows up, right? Like, what do you say to Joey Chestnut when he shows up to the barbecue? Do you go like, hey Joey, what do you want, hamburger or 65 hot dogs? Just picture Joey Chestnut being like, hey, can I have another? Hey, can I have another? Can I have another? Can I have another? Hey, can I just get one more? Joey, there's 58 glizzies, dude. You gotta save some more for everybody else. Just don't accidentally extinguish your fire that you need to... Oh, I don't think that matters anymore. I don't want to be here. I hate these enemies. We need the knife piece, though. I'm impressed how well this run has gone. Like, we are probably going to win, I would say, almost, like, very easily. Now, it has taken us a lot of setup time here, but can you tell I'm enjoying having, like, a little window? What's the window? Oh, just, you know, doing whatever the heck I want to do in Isaac. It's my life, whatever I want to do. So anyway, yeah, that's my, like, 20-minute justification for why I'm recording a video on a Saturday. Apart from that, just chilling, man. Finding, you know, promising myself I'll play a couple of hours of Pokemon Unite, not finding the time, going to bed, and then assuming, no. You know what? We gotta go. It's just a situation where I felt like it was in our best interest to use a Fool card to get out of there. Well done. You could re-roll that, by the way, but I don't really want to. Trying to remember who our boss was here. It was... Shoots Bullets boss. Not Shoots Poop boss or Shoot Worm boss. So this actually is a pretty... Oh, right, yeah, don't do that. Don't do this. We don't want to be here. It's a pretty realistic opportunity for us to pick up another item, I think. Just careful. Oh, what the? You know what? You're gonna laugh at me. I bet it was the knockback from my Ipecac that screwed up my muscle memory. By the way, that is still my fault. Secondarily, by the way, I don't think you need to snap keep a stapler when you already have 40 damage, but you know what? I like seeing it. I have been having a good time playing Pokemon Unite. I enjoy it. I think it's a very fun game, and look, this is not an insult, but I do disagree with what, like, Mathis says on Twitter. So if in case you're not so always online that you didn't see all, you know, me and Mathis going at it on Twitter. We didn't really go, there's literally like 3 tweets. But I was tweeting a little bit about Pokemon Unite. Mathis said this is how Ryan gets back into Dota. I may have derisively sent him a gif of Copium that says he will play Dota again. And then he was saying this is how it starts. You know, you play a little TFT, you play a little Dota. I don't know, like, what to tell, you know, people that are, you know, they think that, you know, there's any chance I go back to Dota. It's a miserable time. And in fact, if anything, the little time that I spent in TFT should tell you that my strength to not go back is so tempting, but my strength to not go back to Dota is so much higher than it was when I was like a, you know, a younger man. By the way, it would be nice to get our donation machines popping a little bit here, but what do I mean by that? Well, like in 2014 when I was playing a little bit too much Dota, sometimes, you know, like 75% of the time that I played the game, I would be like miserable. And then I would be like, it's other people's fault. And now I'm like, you know, anytime a game gives me misery or any kind of like even pseudo-negative impact on my life for like more than, I don't know, a couple of days, I'm like, well, that's it. That settles it. I'm never going to play it ever again. I'm sure Pokemon Unite will get there. There's like a false dilemma I think people have that's like, yeah, you're having fun with this game now, but eventually you're gonna stop playing it, and that invalidates the fun that you're having right now. You know, you're entitled to that opinion, but I disagree for sure. Right now I'm having... Ooh! I'm having a lot of fun with it. Oh, do. And I'm having a lot of fun with Isaac, too. It's just you know what it is? It's just a MOBA that's only 10 minutes long. And also, like, having 2 abilities. And that's basically it. Having a cap on your misery is a real luxury. And I do, you know, I admittedly, I've talked a little bit about, like, the monetization model, but I do have to acknowledge, like, I'm not an expert when it comes to that sort of stuff, and I also, like, you know, I bought the Battle Pass, essentially. But past that point, like, I lack the brain mechanism to feel compelled to put in, like, my mom's credit card number to supercharge my ability to get a bunch of achievements super fast or whatever, or you know, be 10% stronger than anybody else on my team. So, like, all that stuff, I just don't feel qualified to talk about. And whenever sometimes people are like, I'm gonna play, like, the old jaded man card here, okay? Which is, sometimes people ask me, like, hey, the game's fun, but do you feel like the monetization style is, like, a little predatory? Like, do you feel like it's your place as a streamer to play stuff like this? And I'm like, man, I'm just like, I'm not washing my hands of that stuff. I'm just saying, that's kind of like a loaded question. And you're like, nobody said that. Okay, you're almost right. One person said it, which is close to nobody. Ooh, okay, hold on. But you're just like, man, there was a time where, like, I wanted to have an opinion on, like, everything in the gaming industry. That time has long since passed for me. Like, I no longer basically have any interest in anything except, like, the amount of enjoyment that I get personally out of the games, which maybe is a little bit of a selfish take. But if you want to, you know, listen to rhetoric about how this or this affects, hey, sure, the game's good, but, you know, is it priced 75 cents higher than it should be? If you're interested in that sort of stuff, might I refer you to every video game podcast, basically, that's ever been made, of which there are, I don't know, about 30 or 40,000 of them probably out there right now. I'm just out here, you know, landing stuns as Snorlax, and then when I get someone in the stun, I go, oh, and then, you know, we just do that like 3 or 4 hours a day. And thus, I'm absolved of any higher level criticism. It's a sticky nickel. But not for long. That's pretty much what my life looks like right now. Taking care of the baby, well, you know, not feeding the baby like, you know, from the udder, but feeding the baby, you know, from a cool pouch or something like that. Ouch. Cool pouch with some spinach in it, maybe. I kind of like the bird, but I kind of like the reroll here, too. And then the D1, actually a really nice thing to have around in case we get, like, a Spirit Heart or something. Or maybe a Lucky Penny, X-Lax. I'm realizing now this is going to be a long run. I'm okay with it, but I am realizing it. Did you know that the Olympics are live right now? I haven't watched any, but I know that they're going to be a little, like, some of the events are going to be co-streamed on Twitch with streamers commentating. No disrespect to the streamers, I would do this in a freaking heartbeat if I was given the opportunity. But secondarily, like, I have to know what Twitch chat is gonna look like, man. There is a small chance I die here, for the record. I have to know what Twitch chat is gonna look like on, like, the official Twitch streams. When, like, a pole vaulter makes a mistake or something, like with the 8th best pole vaulter in the world performs up to their standards, and then chat's like, what are you doing? I gotta know. I was laughing. I think I talked about this on stream. I'm not sure if I talked about it on video, but I was laughing because at night sometimes when I got a little, I'm looking for some second monitor entertainment while I set thumbnails, I'll go to Twitch, and unfortunately I don't really follow that many people that are live, late at night at Pacific time. So I'll just, go around or something like that on the website, see if I find something that tickles my fancy. And I was watching T-Pain a little bit. He was making a song, like he was crafting his beat, and he was, singing some lyrics over top. And then every once in a while, I was gonna say every once in a while, but in reality, it was like literally maybe 4 to 5 times a second. There would be somebody in chat that's like, nah, man, that's not the lyric. Instead of the lyric you gotta make it something like, BDE, she knows what the BDE, she knows what I mean. And it's just like, I'm not trying to say you shouldn't be able to make suggestions. But I was laughing at the audacity of someone in Twitch chat to be like, hey T-Pain, I know you got, like a ton of gold records and stuff like that or whatever. I'm just like a guy, just chilling, and here's my you'll never make it with that one, buddy. Teddy, you're never gonna make it with that one. And then just suggesting something that has like, not only sounds kind of like 10 times worse than the lyric that was originally in that place instead, but also simultaneously has absolutely no care paid to the amount of like syllables involved or anything along those lines either. And you're just like, man, what, I sometimes I'm jealous. I wish I had that kind of confidence. Whereas me, I've been recording, Isaac for 25 years now. I'm like the photo of Jack Nicholson at the Overlook. Don't forget you're here forever, right? And I'm like, man, I sure hope people don't light me up in the comments because I'm playing the Demon Judgment before the Blood Bank, but the Blood Bank would give me a blood bag possibly, and then the blood bag could possibly, on top of that, then give me the ability to play the other blood bank, which could give me a lot more money to play the battery bagger to get the D1 to power up so that you can get more black cards, and then after you get those, you can use the, you get the general gist of it, I'm sure. Meanwhile, people are in T-Pain's chat like, yo, dude, I know you wrote, like, buy me a drink or whatever, but, like, you ever thought about this lyric that has 17 more syllables than you could possibly cram into the line and is like a cringe reference to Minecraft or something like that? It just gets you going, man. Okay, well, in my opinion, we might as well re-roll this now. It's a nice little tiered delay decrease. I think we're gonna tough this one out, man. I don't see why we wouldn't. HP is still precious, for sure. We got placenta. I mean, you know what? I think maybe my own straw man was right. Like, maybe we do benefit from something like this. Just be careful. Blow this one up. Very nice. I saw Betrayal appear one time, which I think is why I'm like so dead set on this paying out. And because it's a demon beggar, man, you never know. It could give us like Mom's knife or something. Either way, it's a ton of money, which is great because it means the ability to possibly buy deals with the devil, right? Our shop is a little weird now, but okay. I don't even think I blow you up. You're just spiders, probably, right? Just spiders. All right. I'm gonna check our secret room real quick. I mean, we're being mighty exhaustive here. Much more so than usual for me. That's not a secret room? Maybe it's here then. No. I mean, once it's not in one of the obvious locations, it becomes a lot harder to search for. And I just chose to finish my train of thought there, even though it was immediately rendered moot by the fact that we found it. Hey, okay, that's amazing, actually. We don't have a reroll, but that's okay. I think we definitely want Empty Vessel. I don't think we care for Little Abaddon so much. If that had teleported me back, I just want you to know, out of commitment for the bit, I absolutely would have taken it. I would have been like, oh, you know, that's a sign, and then it would have been fun. We would have had a good time. But yeah, I've been liking Pokemon Unite. I also like, and this is a minor bone to pick, okay? But anytime in Pokemon Unite we criticize our teammates, and sometimes that criticism is maybe a little bit like, you know, overblown. I will just say in our own defense, you know, whenever we're like, what is this person doing? Like, we're also trying to entertain an audience of like a few thousand people, so sometimes you put some sauce on it rather than exclusively conversing to somebody as if they're like a completely objective robot or something like that. But whenever we criticize a teammate in Pokemon Unite, it's always like there's one bleeding heart, not to be rude, in the chat that's like, please stop flaming your teammates. They're probably 12. I got a couple of things to say there, okay? The first one is, I disagree with this, like, hand-wringing and moralizing that if you ever criticize somebody, they must be a child because they're playing, you know, on the Nintendo Switch. Same thing happens in Fall Guys all the time. If you ever, like, make fun of, you know, an opponent in Fall Guys, instantly you're the bad guy because, you know, somebody's like, they're 8, Ryan! They use your real name like you're, like, as if they're your parent, even though they were probably born in, like, the year 2005. They're 8! Come on, man. And meanwhile, when I go to, like, Fall Guys streams and stuff like that, when I go to their social media pages, I'm not saying I don't see a lot of, like, you know, asinine takes, but they're largely from, you know, people that are seem to be in their 20s and older. Not to, you know, exclude myself from that. In their 20s and older. Definitely, like, largely adults or at least teenagers. The other one is, I was into Pokemon Go for a long time. When I'd go to, like, Pokemon Go community days or PokeGo Fest, you know, whatever the heck it was called, when I'd see people playing Pokemon Go out in the wild, and I do still quite regularly, it's sometimes kids. I understand there's some selection bias in here because, like, you know, the kids aren't going to drive themselves to, like, a park to play Pokemon Go, but adults, on the other hand, have the means to kind of locomote. But that being said, I see some kids, but the predominant demographic is actually, like, people who look like me. So something like me mixed with, like, the guy from the old viral video where he's in, like, the Tron onesie. It's really not like, I'm not saying there's no children that play the Nintendo Switch free-to-play Pokemon MOBA. Merely all I'm suggesting is the moralizing, won't somebody think of the children, makes you look a lot more like Maud Flanders than you might expect. I think, and by the way, the third thing is, as somebody who is cyberbullied by 12-year-olds just about every day, they shouldn't be dishing it out if they can't take it in return. Like, I understand, you know, the laws are set up in such a way that, you know, they can't be tried as adults for most crimes and stuff like that. But in the realm of, you know, dishing out a little banter on the internet, hey, if you're gonna, you know, say that you hung out with my mom last night, I'm gonna say, oh, that's cool. Did she teach you how to use the toaster oven so you can make those mini pizzas you love so very much? You know, if you can't hang, I mean, you gotta recognize you're going up against somebody here from a banter perspective. I've been on the internet for a long time. I can roll with the punches and I can run with the bulls in Pamplona. I'm surprised at how often, you know, there's a double standard, I guess. I'm not actually complaining, but the double standard is like when you're in the streamers chat, it's like, oh my god, you missed the core fish jungle camp. Your teammates are gonna hate you. And when I'm like, hey dude, can you stop taking my farm, even though there's no voice chat and they can't hear you anyway, people are like, Ryan, they're 6 years old. They only get one game to play. Their parents recently got divorced and you have the audacity to criticize? And I'm like, you, what's it like to, and well, you know what, there's a great irony here, and I'm gonna own that. I was gonna say, what's it like to make up a story in your head and then get mad about it? Which is literally exactly what I'm doing right here, which I think puts a nice little bow on the situation and reminds us that, you know, most of us are cut from the same cloth in a way. Anyway, so that's, you know, Pokemon Unite. It's been fun. I've had a good time with it. I do have, essentially, I have infinite bomb ability, but I only have a certain amount of bombs to give you. I can create explosions, but I can't create more bombs necessarily. I'd love to see a synergy here, though. I mean, I'm really working you, man. I'm really working you. Come on. I mean, this is going to be an amazing deal with the devil, if we can afford everything, but come on. Come on. I mean, I gave you 22 bombs. Are we going to talk about the fact... Oh, no! Well, I found the secret room, at least, but... I would, we'll leave that alive for a second. I would love to get Empty Vessel poppin'. That's, like, actually one of my favorite items. Oh, come on. This is, like, the worst possible layout now. There we go. But yeah, I've been having a good time. Summer's been going nicely so far. Can't really complain. Baby's getting older, getting to a cool age where she actually has, like, kind of a personality. I know that sounds like a backhanded compliment. It would be, like, if she was an adult. If I saw a comment online that was like, NL's one of my favorite streamers because he has almost a personality, I'd be like, hey, buddy, maybe you should call my mom, get her to give you the recipe for those mini pizzas you love so much. I almost left the room there. That would have been bad. But, you know, she's an infant. It's all this stuff is brand new to her. This is the ideal boss fight. So it's interesting, you know, watching her get, you know, start to figure out who she is. It's they grow up fast is like one of the most misleading statements I think while you're living through like the upbringing of a baby, because like not really. Like I'm sure it feels like that in hindsight, and I'll probably echo that in hindsight. But really, it is like, I mean, have you seen like a baby elephant being born? They literally pop out, and then they're like running around 2 seconds later. They become an adult elephant in like 2 years. It's insane. So like, I don't know if I've seen it outside of a challenge run, so like I'm willing to pay for it, but I would much rather keep our D6 right now, and we'll just head through the door, I suppose. Anyway, so I'm not trying to like wish the time away or anything like that, quite the opposite, but you know, the fact that it happens relatively slowly actually, come on man, come on, actually gives you like a great ability to take it all in as it happens. So, you know, watching her develop, you know, a psyche and stuff like that is very surreal, but very cool, obviously, very cool. I think we'll probably save that as a possible reroll pedestal. Can I tell you as well, this is like, you can't, like, this is a kind of a dream run, I guess is what I'm saying, within the context of Repentance, because we got, like, offensively incredibly strong items, pardon me, very early on, and we recognize that we're probably relatively safe as a result of that, but this really goes to show, like, I think that, here's my take on Repentance, okay? I think that it came out and people were like, this is so much more ambitious than we expected. It's crazy. And then I think that as time went on, you know, positive feelings I think are easier to lose, you know, and easier to, they're more fleeting. They slip through your memory. It's much easier to focus on like the negative stuff, especially if you only have like Tainted Jacob left. As I can absolutely relate to. Yo, that's pretty solid. However, now that I'm done all that stuff, you know, and I can focus on just playing the game and maybe farming up some of those items, like I never really got particularly negative about the game outside of like for humor's sake, I think. And you know, it's funny to me, I every once in a while, like I come up on the, like, my name comes up on the r/Binding of Isaac subreddit. Wow, that's a good item. I'm, 91 damage, huh? I'm always, like, genuinely flattered. People, my self-identity aligns with the perception that a lot of the Isaac community has with me, which I think is all you could ask for. You know, is that people perceive you somewhat similarly to as you perceive yourself. People are like, I like NL when he plays Isaac because, you know, when things go badly for him, he kind of rolls with the punches, and he might poke some fun at the game, but he's never like, you know... I will admit, you know, for all the desire to abstain from, like, the actual serious... not serious, but, like, the, you know, academic takes of the gaming industry, I do get annoyed sometimes, like, watching other streamers, and, like, if they have... I feel like they're not good at expressing cogent criticisms about games without being like, this is a piece of crap. Like, it's never like, oh, it's a good game. It's always like, well, it would be a good game, except like they did this one thing that is like, compromises it by 5% and then just totally ruins it. And I'm not gonna say I've never done that, but at least with Isaac, I think I've done a good job of, you know, always having fun with it, with maybe a couple of exceptions. And I maybe that's the reason I keep repeating myself over and over when it comes to stuff like, you know, how my perception on the game is because, you know, if you only watch like me and other Isaac creators who are like, you know, super impressed with the game, you might get the idea that I'm just tooting my own horn. That's not meant to be the case, honestly. It's I guess I as a recovering cynic, you know, as a cynic is trying to become like an aspiring optimist, I guess, in a way, because I think we as a society could use a little bit more of that. What am I doing here, by the way? Maybe focus on my own self first, but I hate when people give criticism that's like, you know, I loved this thing, and that's like one sentence. That's like 1% of their attention. And then 99% of their attention is dedicated to like the 2% of the thing that they love that they didn't love. And I think I mean, now I'm spinning my wheels because I've been down this road so many times before. We'll still take that. But I do want to see if we can maybe stay in empty vessel here, at least until Placenta pops. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. I think, I don't know. It comes from, like, the idea that online, I think, especially, if you're ever, like, positive about something, people assume that you were paid to say it. And if you're ever negative... Like, I think that people perceive negative opinions as being more valid than positive ones. Maybe unconsciously, just because of the idea that, you know, when you have a positive opinion, there could be an ulterior motive. Whereas when you have a negative opinion, it's like, well, they couldn't possibly be using their negative opinion for anything other than because it's so painful to express a negative opinion. And I'm like, I apologize if you've heard me say this, you know, 1,000 times before. Because I really have, but I'm like, nah, man, like a lot of the people that, you know, they express negative opinions like almost all the time. I think it's because of the fact that that negative opinion gives them some credibility. And as a result, gives them kind of like an assumed moral high ground because they're like, oh, you liked thing? Yeah, well, have you considered that thing you like actually sucks because it has a problem? And then this is where you say, NL, can you really blame us? You know, there's been so many situations like WB paying for positive reviews of Shadow of Mordor or whatever. How could we possibly not be, you know, assuming that we're surrounded by a hale corporate level cynicism? And I'm like, well, you know, there have been cases of that, but I mean, the irony, I guess, is that, you know, despite being in the industry for 10 years, or more at this point, people will be like, how naive of you, NL, to assume that you know more than me about this industry. How naive, NL, of you to assume that not every single indie game out there that's getting positive reviews that I personally don't think is that good is paying people off to say that it's good. But anyway, this is... for a guy who doesn't want to talk about the gaming industry, I'm sure doing a lot of talking about the gaming industry Hey, I really love the game. I really think it's really good. It's a great game. You think you could possibly find it within your heart to balance the audio on Gahana 2 so it's not so freaking loud? It's a self-aware joke is what it is. Okay, now we are at 41 minutes. That's so good. We're at 41 minutes, but the run is simultaneously like almost over. I know it seems like maybe we're only halfway through or something, but no, it's genuinely almost done because we only have like a boss fight in 2 floors after this. So we gotta, the flip side of that is we gotta start to figure out like whether or not we got a good chance to win. We have great damage. We're gonna win. Okay, I can't even like pretend to sandbag this one. Let me rephrase. It's not that we can't lose. It's just that a loss would be an incredible throw. Especially considering we're fighting like coming up on the end of the game. We're fighting like the easiest bosses to hit with bullets. And then we're going to gain up to double damage via those bullets. Like... Yes, this is the new me. Because I don't want to get hit, okay? I don't want to get hit, so I'm just gonna... We're gonna just let it rotate out here, man. This is Saturday, dude. Summertime and the living's easy. I guess I could probably just do that, huh? Which means we could probably just do that. Alright. Fair enough. What a shot, man. Okay, what a shot. Have you ever considered shooting more bullets at the enemies? Hey, you ever consider lowering the volume on this level so I could hear myself think? We're gonna use bombs. Wow, that is great luck. Okay. I think you re-roll. Dude, Frost, I'm stupid. Frost Baby, kinda sick though, huh? Alright, we're good. We're gonna leave the floor, look for secret rooms at our leisure, at our convenience, and then get the heck out of here. Anyway, I'm excited by this period in Isaac and what it affords. I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do next. I'm certainly realizing now that maybe doing the alt path is more of like a sometimes thing. The only thing is, if you're gonna do the alt path, you kind of gotta commit early, right? Otherwise, like, what's the point of doing it if you don't get the knife piece and stuff? Just doing it to mix it up. Hush is like annoying, to be fair. But in its own right, it's kind of okay because you can just choose to go to it even after not committing for like the whole run. Dude. Okay, I mean, that's amazing. This is also incredible. So what I mean by that is, you know, you could decide like, hey, this run got good, so let's go to Hush. Whereas with the alt path, you know, you gotta commit pretty early to that song and dance. But this is an awesome setup now, obviously. Okay, and I'm glad that we were able to have such a, and it's not over yet, but I'm glad that it seems like we were able to have such a positive start to this new era in Isaac, where admittedly my #1 priority is going to be getting back to a little bit more of a driving force of banter, especially maybe as things start to like I don't know if things are really closed right now. I was gonna say open up, but that's not really an issue right now. I think it's more like, you know, if we can find like a, if not a babysitter, at least like the mechanics that allow us to go outside in such a way that it's not simply endless grocery store anecdotes over and over. Which admittedly is kind of, you know, that's, I'm not saying those are going anywhere, because I do be, I'm dumb. I do be going to the grocery store like literally every day. Although I didn't go yesterday. That's because, well, you know, I had to run an errand with the cats. We got the cats groomed. I'm always wary to say that we got them groomed. Not because of privacy, but just because then people assume that my cats are like, you know, the Westminster Dog Show dogs. Oh, what's your dog named? Smirnoff, please don't ice me. Vodka soda. Hearst the Third? No. We got a Ruka, we got a Tomo. Tomo's right here. Hey, buddy. It's nothing like that. Our cats are not sponsored yet. It is crazy. Like, you know what? I'm in this situation where I keep telling myself, like, I don't go to the grocery store just to be like, oh, this is, like, the most fun I could possibly have right now. It's because I cook. And honestly, when I'm on baby duty, I like to go for a walk. And what better to do, like, when you're going for a walk than, like, we'll just stop into the grocery store for a little bit, right? It's nothing more complicated than that. But I have, like, weird copium where I'm like, next time it rains, this was so dumb of me. I forgot we didn't have the D6 anymore. But I'm like, the next time it rains, that's when I'll not go for a walk and not go to the grocery store. And then, like, it essentially has not rained in Vancouver for, like 35 days. No joke, is like an actual all-time record, at least for, like, recorded history in BC, or in Vancouver at least. So, it's been a long streak. I gotta get, like, the grocery store specific credit card or something. That's how they get you, man. Now, I will say, for anybody who lives here, you might find yourself being like, actually it rained like a week and a half ago. It did, okay? It sprinkled, it drizzled. However, you should also note that whether or not it technically rained for the purposes of this is based on, I guess I'm not, an authority, but is based on whether or not there was perceived precipitation at the weather station that measures this stuff. And then for this, there was no recorded precipitation at the weather station. So I'm not trying to, like, get off on a technicality here. All I'm saying is, I'm emphasizing it's been a very nice summer from the purposes of, like, walking around. It's been a not nice summer from the perspective of, like, things not being extremely on fire, for sure, but, I don't really have... I know, okay, I'm getting myself in trouble. I was going to say I don't really have control over that. Okay, yes, no raindrop feels like it causes the flood, but I mean, like, I'm not lighting off fireworks in the BC North. In fact, if anything, I'm talking endlessly about the fact that I wish you would stop lighting off fireworks, because, I know, it's a lot of fun when they go, but then, like, when they land in the forest and cause, like, a huge wildfire, I'm gonna say, controversially, we all know I hate fun, but the is not worth, like, the, like, months of fires that we go through. That being said, I know that some of the fires, perhaps even the majority, are caused by other things, like lightning strikes. However, we don't really have the ability to stop the lightning from striking. We do have the ability to stop doing, pyrotechnic gender reveal displays in the middle of a drought. Anyway, I think I'm probably preaching to the converted on that one, or preaching to the choir, but I'm merely trying to avoid a series of bad faith arguments, and the way that I avoid those is by presenting a series of bad faith arguments and then arguing against them, and again getting mad at a story that I made up in my own head, much like I criticize the people that criticize Pokemon Unite toxicity for. I'm sure there are people on this run, by the way, that said, oh no, he's gonna die. I see it in chat all the time. I lose runs that I think I'm gonna win on occasion. This one, I think you gotta acknowledge we were pretty much in the driver's seat the whole time. And really, like, the alt path's just, like, hard. You gotta acknowledge I haven't been down this way that much. Uber Mom, though, that was not that bad. I will head down here. There's a streak of 1, baby. And I'm naively hoping File 3 is done. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Apart from that, thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/NorthernLion. I play a lot of Isaac, but a lot of other stuff as well. I'm live every weekday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific. Come over there. Apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!